What was the Trotskyist analysis? Well, Trotsky, as you would expect, as you're all politically very cute people and advanced, you know what Trotsky's theory of permanent revolution stands for, with his total underestimation, if not negation, of the peasantry. He underestimated the role of the peasantry and gave no decisive importance to the strength of feudalism in Chinese countryside. He maintained that the Chinese Revolution was merely aimed at ending China's state customs dependence on imperialist countries, that this revolution was anti-imperialist mainly because it was directed at the abolition of unequal treaties imposed on China by the various imperialist countries. In May 1927, Trotsky submitted to the Central Committee of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union and to the Executive Committee of the Communist International the following thesis. This is a quotation from Trotsky. Fundamentally untenable is Bukharin's attempt to justify his opportunist compromising line by reference to alleged predominance of the role of feudal survivals in China's economy. Even if Bukharin's estimate of the Chinese economy were based upon an economic analysis and not upon scholastic definitions, all the same, feudal survivals could not justify the policy which so manifestly facilitated the April coup. It refers to 12th of April 1927 coup by Chiang Kai-shek, whereby he started massacring communists and really attacked the United Front that had been carried on up to then in the Comintern. Comintern, you have to remember, was a progressive organization. It was set up by Dr. Sun Yat-sen, who is honored. It was honored then, and it's still honored in China. It was a great progressive, even if he was a bourgeois leader.
The comintern.
Sun Yat-sen.
Yeah, comintern.
What did I say?
Comintern.
KMT, I'll say in future, it's so as to avoid any further confusion that comes from my pronunciation. The Chinese Revolution bears a national bourgeois character for the basic reason that the development of the productive force of Chinese capitalism is being blocked by China's state customs dependence on imperialist countries. It wasn't the state customs dependence which was blocking the development of China's industry, it was feudalism. And unless you get rid of feudalism, no amount of getting rid of state dependence on customs would help the industrial development. After the First and the Second World War, there were plenty of aspects of Germany which were controlled by the victorious powers of the Allies, but that didn't prevent the development of Germany because there were no feudal elements that were blocking it. No wonder then that was the end of Trotsky's quotation. No wonder then that Stalin characterized Trotsky's viewpoint as that of a state counselor of His Highness Cheng So-lin. He was one of the warlords. As Stalin put it again, if Trotsky's viewpoint is correct, then it must be admitted that Cheng So-lin and Chiang Kai-shek are right in not desiring either an agrarian or a workers' revolution and in striving only for the abolition of unequal treaties and the establishment of customs autonomy for China. Stalin went on to say further, thus we have two basic lines. A, the line of the Communist International, which takes into account the existence of feudal survivals in China as the predominant form of oppression, the decisive importance of the powerful agrarian movement, the connection of the feudal survivals with imperialism, and the bourgeois democratic character of the Chinese Revolution with its struggle spearheaded against imperialism. 2, the line of Trotsky, which denies the predominant importance of feudal militarist oppression, fails to appreciate the decisive importance of the agrarian revolution movement in China, and attributes the anti-imperialist character of the Chinese Revolution solely to the interests of the Chinese capitalism, which is demanding customs independence for China. The basic error of Trotsky, hence of the opposition, is that it underestimates the agrarian revolution in China, does not understand the bourgeois democratic character of that revolution, denies the existence of preconditions for an agrarian movement in China embracing many millions, and underestimates the role of the peasantry in the Chinese Revolution. This was a speech Stalin delivered to the 10th sitting of the 8th plenum of the Executive Committee of the Communist International on May the 24th, 1927. This would be soon after Chiang Kai-shek's coup, and it was published under the heading Revolution in China and the Tasks of the Communist International. Trotsky's underestimation of the role of the peasantry is hardly new. It follows from his theory of permanent revolution, which alone explains the degeneration of Trotskyism into a counter-revolutionary agency in the service of imperialism. In the words of Stalin, it is this peculiarity of Trotsky's scheme, the fact that he sees the bourgeoisie and sees the proletariat but does not notice the peasantry. In a country like China, where 90% of the population was peasant, not to notice the peasantry is the equivalent of not noticing the proverbial elephant in the drawing room. He does not notice the peasantry and does not understand its role in the bourgeois democratic revolution. It's precisely this peculiarity that constitutes the opposition's principal error on the Chinese question. It is this that constitutes the semi-Menshevism of Trotsky and of the opposition in the question of the character of the Chinese Revolution. From this principal error stem all the other errors of the opposition, all the confusion in its thesis on the Chinese Revolution.